guys, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I wanted to talk about the story of getting each of my pets and just a bit of background information, and I'm going to be talking about past and present pets. So growing up I didn't really have that many pets. We actually had 2 corgis when I was really young. I think maybe I was like a toddler. Just by surprise one day this tabby cat turned up at our door and she decided that she wanted to live with us, and she just started, you know, returning to our house, and we realised that she didn't actually have a home. We decided to call her Sparkle. That was my sister's idea because it was sort of in the theme of bonfire nights. So one day me and my mum went into Pets at Home and we were looking at all the pets, and I was really drawn to the hamsters, and I thought, like, oh, I just really wanted one, and I was 12 at the time. I'd never really had a pet of my own properly. Then we came back with a Syrian hamster, would you believe? So we actually planned on getting a dwarf hamster, but it turned out to get a Syrian, and his name was called Willow. Well, I named him that, and he was a silver banded Syrian. He was actually climbing on top of the water bottle and he just looked so cheeky, and I knew I wanted him because he just looked like he was full of character, and he certainly lived up to that. He was so sweet. He was just a really gorgeous hamster. He was so friendly. He could be easily handled. He just really opened up the world of animals to me, taught me responsibility. I absolutely loved him, and he lived maybe about 6 months with us, and I learned a lot about hamster care in this time, and I really wish he could have lived longer because he was so much fun to have and he was really sweet. And this was in 2012. So after Willow passed away I really did miss having hamsters around, so we actually got 2 Robo Dwarfs from a breeder and I named them P and Pod. As it turns out, one of them lived about 6 months, same length of time as Willow, and the other one lived about maybe 2.5 years, so I would say that's pretty average for a Robo hamster. And we actually travelled a long way to get these to this hamstery place. A few months later, or a few years, I can't exactly remember, my mum and dad were out in the garden and they called me and my sister into the garden, and they were talking about the playhouse which we have, and they were saying, right, this is our new guinea pig home. And I was just like, what? And they were saying, well, we can get guinea pigs now, and I was absolutely like jumping with joy. I was jumping around like an idiot. I was so ecstatic about this, and I just couldn't believe we were getting guinea pigs. So I was just so excited. And the same day we went to Pets at Home and picked up 2 guinea pigs, one called Ruby and one called Millie. And during this time my dad was actually going to get a hutch for them because we decided the playhouse wasn't really suitable because it was right in the sunshine. It wasn't really the best, and for cleaning them out and stuff it wasn't really ideal, so we got a hutch for them. And my sister got one, picked the tortoiseshell one named Millie, and I picked the white and ginger one which I named Ruby. So we took them home, and then my sister got bored of Millie within like maybe a few days because she peed on her when she was cuddling her, and she decided that she just couldn't deal with guinea pigs. So I was so happy about that actually, because it meant that I could have them all to myself, and I was actually really happy about that. Ruby was quite bossy to Millie and I felt kind of bad for her, so I would say a few months later we went back to Pets at Home and there was one female guinea pig left in the shop. She was so tiny and she was just adorable, and I decided to get her, named her Oreo, and she was tiny. She was actually like a more like brown colour at the time. She really has changed colour, so yeah, I got her and she was just the cutest thing ever. It still is the cutest thing ever. And yeah, she was so small at the time though, so we bonded them. So things don't always go to plan. They didn't actually get on very well. I find with trios of guinea pigs they can fight quite a lot and squabble. That's definitely what happened in that case. But we left them together for a while and eventually had to sort of split them up for a bit because they weren't doing too well together. So yeah, you guys know Bramley, and also you may remember Pudsey, some of you, for you old viewers, and yeah, they were just so sweet and they didn't get along unfortunately, so we had to separate them. And Pudsey was so soppy and he was like, really did kind of crave human attention, which you don't really get with a lot of guinea pigs, but he certainly did. And why is the sun shining so bright? So Pudsey was just so affectionate and so lovely, and Bramley as well. Bramley tend to be a bit grumpy, he still is. So because we found out about this adoption place, we decided to go back a few months later because we still had the 3 girls which were separated because they didn't get along, and we thought maybe we'll get another female and things will sort themselves out. And we didn't quite follow the plan of getting another female. We went back to Bramley Cavies and they had a big pen of girls living together, but there was one neutered male in there, and we thought that would be a really good combination to get like a neutered male. We didn't really know much about neutered males, but we thought it would be better than getting a female, so we couldn't resist him and we actually came back with a neutered male, and we called him Rolo. He had lovely black sleek fur and he was so stunning. He was quite shy and not too keen on people, but he definitely loved living with the girls, and we introduced them all together again. It made the world of a difference to their bond and they just got on so well. I've never seen a group of guinea pigs get on so well, and it was just so lovely to always see them cuddling and getting along really great after they didn't have a great start to, you know, their bonding, but they definitely really turned that around and they were just so close, and yeah, they were such a sweet little group. We then decided that we would like to get another cat, so we actually saw this advert on this website of this ginger cat with big eyes, and he just looks so cute, and we were like really wanting to go see him, so we eventually did, and they came here and did a home check first, and then we went to go and see him, and they showed us him and immediately I fell in love with him. He was just this tiny cat with really big eyes, sort of quite Garfield looking, and he was very playful, and he had a little room to himself where he had all these toys and he was just going crazy and playing with things and being hyper, and he just seemed perfect for us. So yeah, I think they dropped him off here maybe a few weeks after or something, and he lived in this room for a while until he got used to us. Then we let him out for the rest of the house. And yeah, this is Jasper, and Jasper is a crazy cat. He is always doing silly things and he's just hilarious, so we love him so much, and he's been a great addition to our pet family. We went and looked around a few shops maybe, and we went to this one, Pets at Home, and in their adoption section they had 3 male gerbils living together, and they were all piled up in this little coconut, and it was just so adorable. They seemed to be getting on so well, and well, they were all piled up sleeping on top of each other for a start. So I decided I would like to adopt them. I wasn't really too sure on their age, but they were very small and they just seemed right for me, so I got them, and their bond was, it could be a bit unstable at times, but for a group of 3 males they seem to get along really well. I've called them Hazelnut, Chestnut and Peanut. I do miss them, but they have a lot of good memories with these 3. This next adoption story was quite unexpected actually.
So I'm just going to basically tell you a bit of their story. So we were in Jolly's on Saturday, and Jolly's is basically just a pet shop. They don't sell animals, but it's just like a pet supply store. So we went in there just to have a quick look round and maybe pick up a few bits and pieces for our guinea pigs. But as we were walking into Jolly's, we saw these 2 guinea pigs, and they weren't being sold by Jolly's, but there was a company in trying to rehome these 2 guinea pigs, and I think they had a few rabbits as well, but we only really looked at the guinea pigs. So we saw these 2, and they were all like cuddled up together. They're 2 males and they're approximately 1 year old, but we're not too sure, that's what the lady said. So we went over and they were living in a Zoo Zone 2 cage. So we went over and we asked if we could have a quick hold of them, and as soon as we got to hold them, we like fell in love with them, and we just really wanted to give them a new home. And I know we didn't have like that much room in the shed, but we couldn't leave them because they were absolutely gorgeous and they just needed a new home, so we thought we could give them a new home.
I'm so glad I got them too. I don't know if they were from bad stock or something, because both had problems. Pretty much from the day we got them we realised there wasn't something quite right with them. but they did live maybe a year with us, and I feel like they had a happy life, so that's the main thing. But Teddy actually got on the front cover of the Guinea Pig magazine, so that was a nice tribute. But yeah, them two were really lovely, and I do miss them. Then we actually decided to get Bramley neutered so he could live with the sows. We actually got 4 more female guinea pigs to join the group of the other girls, and we got 2 called Panda and Miffy.
So we were in Pets at Home the other day and we saw this poster advertised on the guinea pigs up for adoption, and it basically just said that these 2 guinea pigs had been abandoned outside of Pets at Home, which I think is awful. I don't know why you just dump them in a box outside Pets at Home. I think that's like awful, but that's what happened. So we took them home and let them settle down overnight in the Zoo Zone 2 cage, which is far too small to keep guinea pigs in, but it's okay just for temporary use. So this is Panda, and she is so sweet. She is actually very confident considering we only got her a few days ago. This is Miffy, and she is ginger and white. She's actually a long-haired guinea pig.
They were really tiny at the time. They've grown to be quite big guinea pigs, especially Panda. She's like so big. The sun's come out again. So we went to KB Corner, which is a guinea pig rescue in Doncaster, and we got to see all the guinea pigs, and they sort of suggest which ones they think will be best for you. So I know Roxy had quite a rough past, and she had been, I think she'd been living in quite bad conditions, so this really did affect her. She's taken a long time to gain our trust, but she's come a long way. So she actually came into the rescue pregnant, so she gave birth to Hazel and this other guinea pig, which Hazel sort of bullied, so had to be separated. So we took Roxy and Hazel together and then introduced them to the group as well. For a long time we'd been considering getting a dog. We'd not had dogs for a long time since I was a toddler, as I said earlier. So my mum especially, like, she loves to go out walking as well, and we thought a dog would be perfect. For our sort of lifestyle it seemed to really fit, so we looked around a lot of rescues, had a few in mind when going to these rescues, but they just didn't seem right for us. And we kind of gave up a bit. We weren't too sure on getting a dog, but then we found this advert for this. It's an adorable dog called Vinny, and we fell for him straight away. I always forget the name of this dog rescue, but I will put it right here. So we went to this rescue and they showed us Vinny. We don't really get to look around the kennels in this place, so they basically brought Vinny to us. He immediately came running up to us, and he just rested his head on my leg, and he just looked so sad, and his tail was wagging though, and he looked so happy to see us, and we immediately fell in love with Vinny. So we decided to take him on, and it's just been the best decision ever. He's such a great dog. He was estimated to be like 2 to 4 years when we got him. We don't really know much else about him apart from he was found as a stray, and I believe he had a brother who also came in as a stray. It looks very similar to Vinny anyway, so we think that's the same. We think they're from the same litter, but we're not too sure, but I'm pretty certain that they are. So unfortunately the last of my Robo hamsters passed away, and I decided that I would like to get another hamster, and we looked around in a lot of adoption places, and unfortunately there weren't really any at the time that I was wanting to get one. So I did actually go to this pet shop to get him. It's kind of like an independent pet shop, it's not a chain store like Pets at Home. So we went in there and I looked at all the different hamsters. I spent like hours just deciding which one to get, but something stood out about Pingu, so I decided to get him, and he settled in very quickly. I actually got contacted by one of my viewers who had been watching my videos for a long time, and she said that she could no longer unfortunately look after her guinea pigs due to certain circumstances, and she asked me if I could take them on, and it did take a lot of thinking about because I wasn't sure if it was going to be a good thing. I had a really well formed herd and I didn't want to break their bond, but after a lot of thinking I decided it would be the best thing to do, and you know, I couldn't resist another two. I just wanted to mention that I don't generally do this like sort of adopting from subscribers in a way. I don't generally do that. This was like a one-off, but it felt right at the time and I'm really glad I did it. So these two were called Multi and Mabel, who were maybe about 4 years old at the time, and they lived maybe like, did they live about a year with us? I'm not too sure. We don't have them anymore unfortunately, but they were such sweet guinea pigs and they were such a joy to own. We actually met their owner like halfway, so we both drove to this place to get the guinea pigs. So we found out that Mabel was quite poorly at the time and we thought it would be best for her and Multi just to live together as a pair. So we did this for a while and they seemed to really enjoy this sort of setup that we had, and unfortunately Mabel did pass away after quite a while with this cancer that she had. I think she had like a tumour in her spleen. We then brought Multi inside, but we thought she would need a friend because we don't know how much longer she would go on for. She could go on for another few days, she could go on for another few years, because Multi also had problems, which we did so many tests with at the vets, but they never actually came to the root cause of the problem, and we still to this day don't know what was wrong with her. So we actually went and adopted another guinea pig to live with Multi so she wasn't alone, and I know they can give up if they are living alone and they're quite depressed anyway, so we thought it would cheer her up a bit. We found an ad on the website called Pre-Loved, and this was for a white and ginger guinea pig, quite similar to how Ruby looked, and we read her description. There wasn't that much about her. I think she was about maybe 6 months old at the time, and we thought that this was like a fairly local ad, it wasn't too far away, so we thought it seemed like the right thing to do. Today I have some very exciting news. We're actually going to go and see a guinea pig because we are going to get a friend for Multi, which is so exciting. So just been to collect the guinea pig and they had a mini introduction there and it went okay. Sadly Multi didn't last very long after we got Bonnie. I think maybe within a week or so she actually passed away, so this was very, very sudden and unexpected. So then we found this guinea pig for adoption in a Pets at Home centre, so we went to go and look, and she looked actually quite similar to Multi in her markings. It did take a while, but then eventually they bonded quite well, so that was nice, and then they moved out to join the rest of the herd after the winter had passed, and we bonded them it was quite hard to bond them as well, but it worked out all in the end, so that's really good. Since I'd lost 2 gerbils already, I decided that we needed to bond our lone gerbil with some young gerbils so he didn't get lonely or anything. So we did this. We went to this pet shop because again there was no young gerbils available for adoption that we needed. I've got some really good news. So we did get the gerbils. We actually travelled around a bit because we got a bit lost. They're absolutely gorgeous. Cute is this? So I've just fed all the gerbils. I've put their food bowls quite close to each other. The rabbits actually do have quite an interesting adoption story. So they'd gone to this rescue called Camp Nibble and they were both found as strays separately. So we don't know much about Bigwig and where he was found or anything, but I do know about Piper. She was found, I think it was in Bradford, and they found her just roaming around and they realised that she was a stray and they needed to catch her and take her into the rescue. So I think she was a stray for at least maybe 3 months or so. They had found her but hadn't been able to catch her, and eventually they did catch her, and she was so much smaller at the time because she'd probably been quite malnourished, I guess, if she hadn't been able to get hold of all the food that she needed.
Okay, so I thought I would show you the website which they're on and show you a bit more about them and the pictures of them, because I just really want to show you them and they're so adorable. So Piper lived in some pipes in a field, I'm guessing that's where they got the name from, for at least 3 months before being successfully caught and brought to safety. And they're both small / medium sized lionhead crosses in good health.
So I saw them on the Camp Newell website, and we went to go and see the fosterer's house, and we went to go and see Piper and Bigwig, and I think were they estimated to be 1 to 2 years old, so not too old. And yeah, so we went to see them, and she had a lovely little playhouse for them, and we got really inspired by that actually. So we saw how they were, so we saw them in their little habitat, and I just fell in love with them. Yeah, the actual story behind getting the rabbits, my dad suggested it one day. He was just talking about how rabbits would be a good experience for me, especially as I was coming to like the end of my GCSEs, and it seemed like the right thing to do. That was all good, and we adopted them shortly after we'd been to visit.
Hi everyone, today is very exciting as I will be getting the bunnies today. Yeah, she's just been to sort of drop them off for us, which is really good, and I think it's starting to rain, but yeah, so I think they're both in the litter tray. To now finally have them is really good, and obviously I've never had bunnies before, so it's going to be such a great experience.
Last but not least, we got the Guinea Pigs, and I think most of you guys know the story behind this.
Good morning guys, so today is the day we're getting the Guinea Pigs, and I'm super excited to go and meet them.
We're not exactly too sure how to get there, but I'm sure we'll find out soon.
So it's a pair of males, they're about 5 months old, and they are both so gorgeous.
So thank you guys if you've watched this the whole way through. I know it was quite a lot of me blabbing on, but I hope you found it interesting. I know a lot of you guys do ask me about how I got certain pets and their stories, but hopefully this has just been interesting to you guys, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!